Hi.
And welcome to You Right, the podcast where creativity meets community.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Matt.
Each week on You Right, we challenge our listeners to write a story in just 30 minutes, using 3 of 5 randomly generated words.
It's a fun and fast-paced exercise to spark your imagination and get those creative juices flowing.
We'll read your submissions, offer feedback, and discuss the unique twists and turns of each story.
Whether you're an aspiring author or just love a good tale, You Right is your place to explore the endless possibilities of storytelling.
So, grab a porcupine quill and some blood, get comfortable, and let's dive into this week's stories.
And remember, the only limit is your imagination and 30 minutes. Let's see what you got.
Let's check it out.
Blood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, I wanted to say something about that. I chose porcupine quill because, believe it or not, listeners, whenever I lived in Mongolia, in the villages, they pierce the little girl's ears with a porcupine quill.
Okay.
And this grandma, and far be it from me to pretend like I know more about what they're doing than they do, because I had only been there for 6 weeks.
Okay.
The grandma was trying to pierce the ears of this 4-year-old little girl with a porcupine quill, and she was fucking it up. And I was watching this, and I was getting increasingly uncomfortable. And I said, and the girl was in a lot of pain. Well, the problem is that the grandma was not holding the earlobe taut. She was just
stabbing her earlobe.
She was holding it and just like this. And I was just watching, cringing.
Yeah.
And this 4-year-old little girl was, of course,
wailing in agony.
Actually, she was doing pretty good at taking the pain, but clearly in a lot of pain. So finally I said to the grandma, I was like, can you just let me do this? And I did, and I pulled her ear lobe super, super tight and just darted it.
Doink.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it worked. Anyway, and it bled.
Well, yeah.
And that's it.
Does it not normally bleed?
It normally does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, that sounds right.
No, it is.
You put a hole in somebody.
Right. I'm just saying
they
that's
will
why.
Bleed.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's why I added blood as the thingy, the thingy that makes.
I get it. Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm
Okay,
here.
cool,
I'm here
cool.
with you now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Great.
Yeah. We're drawing up plans. Kim is literally drawing up plans for our garden.
Oh.
Yeah. And I will be making our potting table this weekend. So that'll be a fun project.
Oh, that's
hopefully.
Awesome.
Hopefully
what do you mean
it's
by
fun.
Potting table?
So it's just a table. It lives outside. So I'm using all treated lumber. And the idea is that you can use it to pot all of your seedlings or anything like that, but instead of just a flat surface, there's slats across the top, and then you just pour soil over what you need, and then the excess will fall through the slats into a bucket underneath and catch all the soil you're not using. So
okay, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna have to see this when it's done.
Okay, I have plans drawn up if you want to see it.
Ooh, I'd love to.
Oh, it's going to take a while. I'll show you after we record. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. Kim notified me that we will be growing lettuce this year.
Ooh.
Yeah. And there's these little single serving heads of lettuce that you can get.
What?
They're little tiny heads of lettuce. They
like
look
a Brussels sprout?
But but
bigger.
Like a beefy, chunky Brussels sprout. Yeah. And not it's
that's
more lettuce
adorable.
adjacent than it is cabbage, but yeah.
So is it iceberg or romaine?
I don't. You have to ask her. It looked more iceberg.
Yeah, because if it's a head,
yeah,
that sounds more like iceberg.
Yeah, whereas romaine grows out all leafy and fluffy. Yeah.
What if you used those as croutons in your salad?
Giant, tiny heads of lettuce.
Yeah. Like,
it could be fun.
I want to I want to crunch into that. I'm just envisioning it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm a huge fan of Brussels sprouts anyway, so I feel like I'm going to I think I'm going to enjoy those.
Yeah, but beefy ones.
Beefy.
Can you imagine the satisfaction? Just like the
Yeah, and you just take it, rinse it off, and then just bite it like an apple.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Merc.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Awesome. Love that.
But yeah, we're budgeting our garden beds based on the amount of sunlight that they get. So things that need full sun all year round get pride in place in the sun. Everything else that can stand a little shade just gets a little further down the bed.
Wow. So you're really, really planning this out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
We're serious.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the first year that we've put this much forethought into the plan.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
I'm excited. I think we'll have a good harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of harvest.
Yeah?
Did you see our harvest of stories this week?
I did.
Yeah.
That I did.
Yeah. Because you were there.
I was.
Yeah.
You were there too.
I was. Oh, it's exciting.
It's so exciting.
It's so exciting.
I larfed.
So for those who may not be familiar, would you like to remind our listeners what our prompt was for this week?
Yes. Our prompt for this week was satire.
Yes, it was.
So we got some good satire.
Yeah, we do.
We got us some satirists.
Some real satirists out there
Real
satirizing some satirical
satire.
Satire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And whose story did we pick this week?
I do believe that we picked
Here Comes the Axe by RichiePozier. Yes. Yes, we did. All right. So, Here Comes the Axe by RichiePozier. In this day and age, there is nothing more freeing, more liberating, nor more intrinsically valuable than pessimism. It is the ultimate form of intellectual power. To see something beneficial to the advancement and betterment of our world, and rather than applaud it, choose to tear it down and dismiss any modicum of goodwill that may be attributed to it. We know that we should not give into the temptation of preemptive negativity and disdain, but it's just so gosh darn easy to draft the memorandum before the wave folds into a tsunami. Everything becomes a tool or a weapon to be used against us. Don't believe me? Insulin. Check. Asthma inhalers? Check. The internet? Check. What about baby food, you ask? Surely it's full of fucking arsenic, you rube. If you know, I'm sorry. And if you don't, you've got a lot to catch up on. And if you don't believe me, then I have a bridge I'd like to sell you. It's right next to a timeshare in Tornado Alley. Pattern recognition is a dick, and so am I. Nobody fucking cares because they are keeping us too fat and overworked to be able to do anything. We've lost the forest for the trees, and we are too inundated with fear-mongering and chicanery to fight back. The French knew what to do. They got their asses out there and cut down that fucking forest. But the forest is much too big, I'm afraid. My heart is heavy, my mind is furious, and my pen is inked. Pessimism is my muse and my lover. She is the rock that grounds me in the darkness and the armor on my breast. She is the wind that howls through the canyons and fans the inferno of revolution. She is honest, she is resolute. We are the trees, and I fear the axe.
Well read.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
It's a good story, Richie. I like that.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. There were some parts in there that made me laugh.
Yeah. Oh, yes. What about baby food? Surely it's full of arsenic.
Fucking arsenic.
You rube.
Exactly.
Yeah, I laughed out loud. I lolled at that.
You lolled?
Oh, I lolled. Yeah.
I lolled at the part about selling you a bridge next to the timeshare in Tornado Alley.
We live in Tornado Alley.
We do.
Granted, we're at the southern edge of it, but we're there.
We're there.
We're there.
Oh, we're there, all right.
Yeah, we're the cul-de-sac at the end of Tornado Alley.
Yep. Can you imagine, though, if there were timeshares here?
I don't know enough about our real estate market to say that we don't.
That people would want to, like, vacation here?
I mean, yeah, it sounds absolutely absurd.
Like, I mean, people do want, actually, surprisingly, people do want to vacation here for different reasons.
But on a regular basis.
On a regular basis, because they just love it so much.
They show up once and like, yeah, that's all I wanted to see.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I'm good.
We'll go to Hawaii next year.
Yeah. But anyway, it was, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I didn't understand the last line. I was like, I know this is supposed to be clever in some way, but I don't get it.
Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What do you think it could be? Because I'm with you. I don't land on a clear meaning for that line, but it does strike me as like poetic and thematic.
Right.
So.
Well, it says we've lost the forest for the trees. Okay, there's like a forest imagery here. The French knew what to do. They got their asses out there and cut down that fucking forest.
So what's the forest then?
Okay, so the forest.
Are we to assume this is like around the French Revolution? Is that what we're talking about? Like, I'm trying to figure out why we're singling out the French here.
I know, like, maybe it's the fact that the French have their shit together more than we do or something.
Or considering the author is clearly pessimistic.
Right.
Maybe are the French notoriously pessimists?
Yes.
So maybe the forest is like hope and like.
But it says we've lost the forest for the trees, as though the forest is a good thing and the trees are a bad thing. But then it says the French cut down the forest. Maybe it was supposed to say the French cut down the trees, but this forest is too much. Oh, it's much too big.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, but there are far too many trees.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it seems. I feel like I want to find a point here, but I'm like, I can't quite find it.
Yeah. I'm trying really hard to.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
But I know it's there, and it makes me just feel like it's just over my head somehow. I'm just not quite grasping it.
Maybe we are the trees. Like, we are not the forest. We are the trees.
Mm-hmm.
So drawing out individuality. And I don't know. I really like the last line, but like you, I can't land on its intent. It does leave us asking all these questions, so maybe that's the intent.
Maybe so.
If that is the case, well done. Because even after my first read, I was like, what could this mean? It resonates, but I can't tell you why.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
It does.
I just don't know what it means.
Maybe that's the satire.
Maybe.
It's just, it sounds good.
Ooh, that's a really good idea.
It's all chicanery.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, though, for a satire is like, it's just something that has no meaning and just like tons of very sophisticated wording.
It's all platitudes.
Right.
Yeah.
But it actually doesn't mean anything.
It's just nonsense.
Yes. That happened to me recently. I forgot who I was talking to. Could have been my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure. And I was like, you're saying a lot of words, but I'm actually not hearing any meaning. Hearing a lot of words.
But none of it
means
amounts to anything.
Yes. I'm like, what are you trying to tell me right now? Please speak to me in simple terms.
That makes me think of, there's this Italian song that it's made by Italians or an Italian artist.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie.
That's a morning. No, not that one. It is it was made in the 70s. I didn't think it was that old. It's a song that's meant to sound like it's in English, but it's all nonsense words. And I'm just gonna play it.
Do it.
Yeah, to hell with it.
shoes now, a whole building scene in a whole red map begin to call the boss dying. Chance of mine begin to call, Bevis is staying yet with Joe.
He's saying nothing.
Yeah.
But it does sound like English.
It does. Isn't it English?
No. There is no English word
What
in it.
language are they speaking?
There isn't. It is nonsense. The closest that you get to a word is like, yeah.
It sounded like get a lot of something time.
Well, yeah, but
it's not.
I love it. I love it because it really
That's
does.
kind of hilarious. Can I get a link to that?
Yeah.
I really want to listen to that some more times.
All right. That's actually like I think that's the only actual English in there is all right. Yeah. And it's at the end of the chorus.
Really, really funny.
Yeah. I believe it was featured at some point in the show Ted Lasso.
Oh.
It comes up in there. But I think it was somewhere else too. Maybe in a movie somewhere. But anyway.
That is some funny shot.
It's amazing. Anyway, that's
pretty cool.
That's what it made me think of.
Yeah, I love that. Now I don't think that Richie is doing a no meaning thing here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
By the way, just to bring it back. Oh, thank you. I got it. Just to bring it back in, we just kind of digressed there.
Yes, as we are known to do. Yes. Want and known.
Right.
Yes.
But mostly want.
Mostly want.
With an O.
To bring it back. You were going to bring it back.
Oh, I did. I just bringing it back. I just wanted to say that I definitely see the meaning in this. It's just the last line that I kind of flew over my head.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
What are we making a commentary on here? Since satire is all about the commentary.
I think that this is a commentary on. I think this is a criticism of optimism.
It's pretty clear, yeah.
Is what I'm getting from this.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like whenever we start out, we're gearing into all this pessimism where we naturally want to incline ourselves to think like this is bad, like this isn't the way you're supposed to think. But the longer we read, the more I feel like the more serious it gets. Like we move away from any comedy or anything like that, and it starts to lay some groundwork. And that's kind of where we start to get lost as well, is in the more serious aspect of this story. And I feel like it's making a case for pessimism.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely making pessimism seem like a good thing.
Yeah. And man, the second to last paragraph, again, we're a little lost on its official meaning, but I think it is absolutely beautifully written. I'm just going to read it.
It is.
Pessimism is my muse and my lover. She is the rock that grounds me in the darkness and the armor on my breast. She is the wind that howls through the canyons and fans the inferno of revolution. She is honest. She is resolute. That is very well done. Very well described.
It is.
And personifying pessimism that way. Very well done. Very well done.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of also, well, it's just saying that everything is fucked up. Like, no matter how innocuous it may seem, it's still fucked up.
Yeah.
Like
and
baby food.
it's full of arsenic. Didn't you know?
Right. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
But I'm not surprised, honestly.
Yeah. But the reason I ask what you think the commentary is because, well, first of all, I agree with you. I think it's a criticism of optimism. But because it's not obvious, Richie, are we right? Like, are we missing the point here? I feel like part of satire is making sure that your audience lands on that meaning. And if your audience doesn't quite land on the meaning that you were going for, I think it's important to know what we did land on. So just for the sake of Richie, like if that wasn't what you're going for, That's what we got out of it.
Yeah.
So.
Tell us where you were going for.
Yeah. Yeah. And furthermore, what is the last half of this story? What is it going for?
Yeah.
Like, where are we headed with that? And I feel like maybe Richie ran out of time and we couldn't quite get to the punchline at the very end there. But
or maybe he did and we just missed it.
Very possible.
Because we're fucking rubes.
Rubes, every one of us.
Right.
Each one of us.
Or Each and every one of us.
Yes. Me and you. What else you got?
I think that's all I got for that one, but it was quite an enjoyable read.
Yes. Yeah. Well, hey, thanks, Richie.
Thank you, Richie.
Okay. And up next, we have The CEO's New Deal by Walker by Faith.
Okay. So I'd like to jump on in and say that I found this to be brilliant.
Yes.
Very, very, very brilliant.
And what a way to pay off some really high expectations there, Walker.
I really did not think that you were going to be able to do it.
Yeah, but you pulled it off.
You pulled it off.
Yeah.
Like, you totally delivered.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. Bravo.
Yes.
And it was like so good. It's like, make me the most powerful man in the world. You know, and then, okay, well, whenever I was first reading it and I saw the part about grab you by the pussy.
Yeah, we're clearly...
It's going to take a lot more than a chance to grab you by the pussy to keep your job. I literally had the thought, like, oh, Walker is like, just saying stuff that he heard.
No,
I mean, from what we know now, who it is talking.
Right, yeah.
That it's just like from the headlines, and that line just like stayed in his mind and he thought it was funny, and then he just decided to throw it in. Like, I didn't realize it was for a specific reason.
Oh, okay. No, you know? I took it for this specific reason.
I did after I found out who the character was.
Yeah. That was the line that really like clued me. I was like, okay, there's the direction that we're going. So
that's the line that made me think, wow, Walker just says whatever comes into just writes whatever comes into his head. Like, he doesn't even screen it. I literally thought that.
Okay.
No, like, I'm just like something that obviously is a quote from somebody else, but he's not even meaning it that way, and he just like tosses it in there because it sounds funny, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you, Walker, is that I underestimated you, and then I got to the end, and I was like, damn,
solid.
That was so intentional.
Yeah. Well, and also in the first half, you know what? As a matter of fact, I continue. You're fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clue number 2 in the first half that we get.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have an orange crayon as our main character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just so good, and it's really funny because at the very beginning, I had already forgotten what came before this. And it was like a furry snake-headed beast. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I was imagining my snake candy corn with like a fur coat with like a pelt.
Oh, yeah. Or just Chewy riding around or just walking around with candy corn, your snake, just coiled around.
Yeah.
Just on a ride.
Exactly. And I was like, this is so cute. And then I remembered.
It's like, it's a demon. Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, this is a demon.
Yeah.
This is not cute. It was just brilliant. And I know, Walker, that you did not plan for this to happen.
But it worked, man. It worked. The only incongruity that I could find was that we clearly know who this character is, but we know that the character's name was Michael.
Yeah.
So we could just call this some other universe where the orange crayon's name is Michael.
See, that was, but is that his middle name, perchance? Do you know his middle name? No, it's J something.
Yeah, it is J something.
No, but listen, if you had said him by his real name, it wouldn't have been such a clever reveal.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And the fact that you didn't know where you were going with this, I feel really like made it.
Yeah.
Because once we got to it, it was like,
oh, it's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it just is so good. Just so clever. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for the sake of everybody, I'm just going to read the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Make me the most powerful man in the world, more powerful than anyone in the past 1,000 years. Then, if you want my so-called soul, it's going to cost you. I need power without consequence, supernatural influence, people who flock to do my bidding even when it's against their own morals, and a free pass to do whatever the fuck I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to be Julius Caesar, Napoleon, Mussolini, Augustine, and Hitler combined, but without the hate and the dying. I simply want the power to make others do whatever I want and any and all the time.
Yes. Okay. So that to me is one of the most clever parts because that would explain everything.
It totally would.
Why are these people just selling their souls and sacrificing the morals that they've lived by their whole lives to do this man's bidding?
Yes.
And this would explain it. He made a deal with the devil.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wanted to call out the line, Julius Caesar, Napoleon, name, without the hate and the dying.
Mm-hmm.
How... I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this question, but is the demon living up to this deal, do you think? Without the hate and the dying. So far, who we believe this character to be, is alive, so that part is being lived out. But could we classify this character without hate? Like, he is not hated. Like,
I don't know where the hate part comes from, but the dying part, well, we have not yet seen a very significant amount, an obvious amount of life lost due to this person's power yet.
No, I took that as people not hating this person and without this person dying, because Julius Caesar, Napoleon, Mussolini, like these are all famously dead leaders.
I took it as other people dying, like genocide.
That sounds too gracious.
Yeah, that's how I read it though.
Yeah,
and I was like,
so that's the one part of the deal that I feel like might be the Achilles heel that could come back and bite this character.
What?
Without the hate and dying.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. That feels just vague and wishy-washy enough that it could be construed by the demon in a way that could benefit the demon or go against the wishes of this character.
I'm like trying to change my whole outlook and perspective on that statement because I had read it completely differently.
More almost philanthropic, like wants to promote kindness and life in the world.
No, I didn't read it like that. I read it like this is a person who doesn't even have, like, this is a person who just wants power.
Yes.
Pure power and nothing else. They don't want to grab anybody by the pussy. They're not motivated by sex. They're not motivated by violence. They're motivated only by a desire for power.
And control.
Yeah. And I also almost read it as a way that Walker was like not trying to curse. He's like, I don't know. How do I explain this? As a way that Walker is trying to be like, manifest that there's not going to be some type of genocide or something, Oh,
through this deal.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's actually more interesting to read it that way.
And I don't see this character as philanthropic at all. I see this character as having zero motivation or desire for anything except power.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Deviant, if nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that almost makes him seem kind of inhuman.
Yes.
Yeah. He's not even like hateful to the point that he wants to kill a bunch of people. He's not even like trying to have sex with everybody, Just control. Power and control over everyone. Right. Which kind of, I don't know.
Tracks. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
And Walker, I subscribe to your your backstory here.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it happened.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this explains everything.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we just get all the cronies and lackeys, the yes men and the sycophants just hanging around this character and everything that they're willing to do. Where was that? There was one handled, huh? I asked Monroe, giving him my best icy stare. And if I told you that I needed you to crawl under this desk right now and unzip my pants, would that be handled as well? Without a beat of hesitation, Monroe answered, with or without this audience, sir. That, like, right there was, I think, some great satire.
Yeah.
Because it's satirizing not only this character, but the people he surrounds him with as well. Very well handled, I thought.
Yeah.
Handled. Oh, man. Yeah, it's clever, and obviously very topical. And I think I'm with you. It landed in the tier of genius. It worked. It worked, and it worked great.
I'm really impressed, but it's funny because this whole time for years now, we've all been like, why are these people suddenly worshiping this guy? It doesn't make sense. Like at church, for example, all these people who've been talking about God is love and Jesus for years, for their whole
decades,
lives, are suddenly worshiping this orange crayon.
Yeah, I don't. It defies any logic, any reason.
And this would explain why.
This really does, which is why I feel like it lands in the tier of genius. It goes towards explaining something that nobody has a clear answer for.
Yes. Yeah.
Where did this, I'll just call him idol, false idol, come from?
Yeah.
And how did he end up with this power?
Right.
Oh, it's utterly fascinating.
Yeah.
And I think this is some very well done satire.
It is excellent.
Yes. And I would like to thank Walker by Faith for finally telling the world the backstory for the orange crayon.
It finally makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And it explains everything.
Yep.
This is so good.
So good.
This is so good.
So good.
Yeah, what a way to pay off some expectations that we were sure
I
going to
knew
go
you were going to fail. I knew you were going to fail. I knew you were going to be like, I decided to go a different direction this week.
No.
But
just straight in. Like the day after we recorded, I think we had a response. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Just like
bravo.
dove right in. Yeah, bravo.
Well done.
Yes.
Very well done.
So well done.
Yeah. Oh, and if you weren't clear, or if you didn't know, EBITDA acronym that's thrown around in here, had to look it up. Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So
EBITDA.
EBITDA. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
So,
thank you.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
Got anything else for Walker?
I really don't. I feel like we've glowed enough.
We have.
Yeah.
Isn't it glown?
We have glown enough.
Okay, awesome. Next up, I do believe that we have A Robin by Any Other Name by Nick Dew.
So this one was interesting.
Yes.
And I couldn't find any satire in here.
No.
That being said, I do think this is still very interesting.
Yes.
Like I like the kind of backstory that we're getting here, and the kind of what we're setting up with this kid who has powers, which we learn is in some sort of correctional facility, which Nick, you mentioned in a comment.
Yes.
So the way I kind of perceived this was a kind of lead, like the way we're led into the show Squid Game. It's like you have somebody kind of down on their luck, and then somebody powerful, beautiful, looks like they could be a model, shows up and offers another alternative, offers an avenue for change or something. In
one
this
that
case,
you're in a kind of between a rock and a hard place, and you have no choice but to accept.
Right. You're very short on options. And ultimately we come down to this guy is how did Nick Chu put it? The man wanted to buy himself a son. That's a line that we get later. Mm-hmm. So it's this sort of adoption of like this family wants to adopt these kids that have powers, and just we go from there. That's near the end of the story that we learn that. But what did you think? What did you think of this?
I guess the whole time I was like trying to glean. I was trying to like situate myself in the story. I was trying to orient myself the whole time. I could never really get, because usually I would say when I'm reading something, then we all do this, like immediately start orienting yourself. Like, where are we in the story? What is the setting? What is the goal? What is the purpose? What's happening?
Yeah.
And
try to give yourself a direction as a reader.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I never really got there. Even at the end, I was just like, okay, so is this a mob family?
It strikes me like that.
Yeah, it seems like a mob family, and okay, people with powers. Well, the way that this child was described, sounded like he was very streetwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. But powers, maybe that's considered a power in this story.
Street smarts.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe just like the willingness to sacrifice to take care of your family or something, Yeah.
Unclear what the powers are. And we do also get some hints, or maybe just one hint, that this man also has some sort of power. He extended his hand and I shook it. I noticed how strong his grip was and repressed a shiver. He wasn't Bulldog, which is a character that's referenced, but he was someone dangerous for sure. Yeah,
that was probably my favorite line, because I liked the way that was described about the man he was powerful somehow. And I just feel like that just kind of like resonated with me, because I feel like I've met people like that are like not huge or intimidating looking, but there's somehow something in the way they carry themselves seems like they're very dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good line. And really, I could actually picture this scene going down, especially once I got the clue that they're in some sort of correctional facility. I painted a very clear picture from all of this. So from a setup point of view, I think you did very well here. I do think that including some language saying that they're in a correctional facility, maybe even just by describing the space that they're in, or what Abe, our character, is wearing, could be a clue. If he's in an orange jumpsuit, they're in prison or something, and just giving us maybe some clues that they are in some sort of correctional facility would go a long way towards rooting your reader in your setting.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I do think it's a good story. I'm fascinated to know where the satire was supposed to be, because it's got to be in there somewhere. I just can't find it, though.
Didn't he say that? Isn't he the one that said that satire is hard?
Yes, yeah. Nick Chu, writing satire is hard, and especially so in a half-hour time limit. Yeah.
So I feel like he was kind of like, definitely, maybe he also felt that there wasn't a lot of satirical elements in here, or maybe there are and we just don't see them.
It's possible. Yeah. Nick Chu said, my concern is that this might not be obviously comedic enough to count as satire. Yeah. And I don't know that satire necessarily requires comedy. It just needs commentary, which the easiest way to comment on something without being an asshole is through comedy, generally. Yeah.
Or that's a lot of times is being an asshole as well.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So we were just watching Hollywood Squares, and they have Triumph, the insult comedy dog, on there. Did you ever watch Conan O'Brien?
Oh. I was a Conan head.
Yeah. So Triumph, the insult comedy dog, is one of the celebrities on Hollywood Squares, the remake that's on CBS, I want to say. But anyways, just about everything that comes out of his mouth feels like satire.
Nice.
Yeah, because it's all like cutting.
Yeah.
It's all commentary on people or events, and it's all just he's hilarious. First of all,
we could all take a note from his playbook.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll be curious, Nick, if you can let us know kind of what you were trying to comment on in this story. So yeah, what was the commentary?
It is an interesting story, though.
It is. It's a very intriguing setup for a larger story.
Yeah.
Honestly, this could go places. This is a lot of. This is a fun start to a story.
It almost reminds me of like a Marvel something or another.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Marvel-esque,
or even like
Du Bois.
Yeah, kind of like The Boys, kind of like Misfits.
Yeah,
like a family of misfit people with powers that have been adopted through these facilities, correctional facilities or whatever.
Yeah.
This seems like it has places it wants to go. All right. What you got for Nick?
I think that's all I got.
All right. Hey, thanks, Nick. You.
Thank you, Nick.
Up next, we have an untitled story by you.
Me.
You. So, what do you think of this story?
I thought it was very clever.
You know what? I did too.
Thank you.
I did too.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to call out some highlights here.
Okay.
First of all, the mention of pozole.
Yep.
Made me starving.
Yes.
The descriptions of how this character is driving are hilarious.
Yeah. Thank you.
Like, they are everywhere they go.
Yeah.
The gas pedal is either floored or the brake pedal is floored.
Yeah.
It's no in between.
Right, exactly. It's extremes.
It's extreme for sure. You go to such lengths to make sure that we get that.
Right. That's an important point.
The one in the second paragraph, it was almost her turn, and she could feel her mouth literally start watering. She couldn't endure it much longer as the driver in front of her began to speed away, eager to escape with their scrumptious haul. Amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
She floored it and almost rear-ended them. Just as quickly as she had accelerated, she slammed on the brakes in front of the drive-through window.
Yes.
I don't know why, and this is the second instance of just the horrid driving of this character.
Horrid or exciting?
Por qué no los dos?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, both of them. Gotcha. Yep. This person is a person of extremes for sure. Most certainly.
But we kind of arrive at the crux of the story. We're not allowed to serve non-Mexican customers anymore. It's considered cultural appropriation.
Right.
Yeah. So restaurants are officially segregated. You only eat within your ethnic group. And I'm curious, what are the consequences for serving somebody outside of your ethnic group? Just food for thought. You don't have to answer.
Well, imprisonment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it the same consequences for eating food outside of your cultural domain?
Yeah. Everybody goes to prison.
Just believe it or not, prison.
I know that's hard to believe, but that's what it is.
Straight to jail.
Yeah.
Straight to jail.
Right.
Believe it or not, jail.
Jail.
Yeah.
I know you don't believe me right now, but jail.
Jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a new bill that was just passed. It sucks, but it is what it is. Speaking truth.
Yep.
Speaking truth. Wait, Charlie searched for an appropriate response. So you're telling me that I can only eat at places with food originating from European Americans? Is that what you're telling me? That all restaurants are segregated now? Yeah, pretty much. Now get the fuck out of my drive-thru, lady.
Yeah.
just flip that switch. Get out of here.
Right.
They've been very kind, cordial, polite, and then get the fuck out of here.
Because it's like, this is the third time that he has had to say something to her, and he's like over it.
It's like, okay, go on, get.
Yeah. This is what's happening. I can't change my mind. Yeah. And so, a lot of that just seemed very familiar to me. I guess just the, where you're hoping against hopes that somebody's going to have mercy on you. And you're literally just like searching their face, just like hoping for some, connection.
Yes. I want to read the next line.
Yeah.
Charlie glared at him intensely while revving the engine, trying unsuccessfully to intimidate him, then peeled out, seething and starving.
Yes.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could feel like that was very well described.
Yeah. Thank you.
I like that we get the 3 beat with the driving. Like the 3rd beat of just peels out.
Right.
You can hear tires squealing while she's just mean mugging this guy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was it's hilarious.
Yeah, thank you.
And then we get all of the text about these bills that have been passed, and in more specific detail while she is reading news on her phone. Is she making her cheese sandwich at this point? That's what I thought. Yeah. Slammed the door behind her and furiously began preparing her consolation meal while reading the news on her phone.
Yes.
It just paints such a picture.
Yay.
It really does.
Thank you so much.
I was especially a fan of the part, in the absence of a qualifying document, those wishing to enter public restrooms will be required to drop trow, in the words of the newly appointed Secretary of Labor. that was chef's kiss. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that obviously you all saw this, but it's, first of all, in order to curb racism, we are going to reinstitute segregation.
Yes.
And in order to preserve the dignity and modesty of Americans, we are going to force them to drop trout.
Which is amazing.
Yes.
That's so good.
And it's so true.
I love if we are to preserve the modesty and dignity of Americans, they must drop trout to enter a public restroom.
Exactly.
It's lovely.
Exactly.
Absolutely lovely.
Thank you.
Hilarious. And unfortunately,
this is where we're at.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. Yep. Thank you so much. And I'd like to point out also my use for the word ma.
Yes. Yeah. Lovely use.
Thank you.
Yeah, there were some great word choices in here. Ma was a good one. Scrumptious was another good one. I know there are others.
Well, first of all, I stole both of those from my mom. But ma, I say that to my cat.
Ma.
Yeah. Shut your mouth. And also, I don't know why I've always thought that was a hilarious word for mouth. But also, after Christmas, my mom would always be like, "Did you get you a good how?"
Yeah.
Do y'all know what that means?
Did you get you a good haul?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a good haul of gifts. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I always thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do I imagine that your mom would say that about Halloween as well? You come back, it's like, did you get you a good haul?
She did.
Yeah.
Did you get you a good candy haul? She did. Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely, she did.
So commentary on 2 things here, but mostly the umbrella of kind of politics in America today.
Right. Exactly.
Some of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And when you're living through a shock and awe campaign, there's a lot of it going around.
There's so much to choose from.
Yeah. It's just ripe for satire.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And some of it, I read a headline, I was like, this is satire. Nope. This is actually happening. This is the world that we live in.
Yeah. Which reminds me, I need to catch up on my John Oliver episodes.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else for that one?
No. It just makes me giggle.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. So next up, we've got How Convenient by Matt Said Words.
That's me.
He's sitting right here, guys.
Hey.
Right here.
Hey.
So what did you think about this?
I'm pretty tickled with this.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I laughed immediately when I read the first word, which is billium.
Thank you. I'm glad.
I freaking love that.
I wanted to set the tone right away.
Yeah, this is funny.
Yes.
Yes, it's hilarious. Billiam. Oh my God. Okay.
He's actually a recurring character from another satire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Billiam. Okay, so Billiam. All right, and then, well, the thing that I wanted to mention was that this happened to me 2 days ago.
Did it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yesterday. It was yesterday.
You got locked out. So
yes.
Whenever I posted this was happening to you?
It was literally happening. It was literally happening.
The universe, man.
Yes. And so whenever I read this, I was like, what the fuck? But I didn't get arrested, and I never made it into my house, and I didn't get arrested. I just had to leave.
Are you still locked out of your house?
No. It just started working again.
Oh,
randomly.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah. Whenever my roommate tried to get in, like several hours later, it started working.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
But whenever I was desperately trying to get in to get something that I forgot because I was running and I was running late to class.
Of course.
It wouldn't let me in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was begging. I was pleading. It didn't work. Anyway. Okay. So this is very, very on point. I feel like this is satirically describing technology today.
Yes. So I set out to satirize convenience and technology's role in modern convenience.
Yeah.
To which I could write a series of stories like this.
Oh, really?
Because I deal with technology every day.
Right.
Like, that's my job.
Yeah.
And so I could, this is like bullet point 1A of the number of things that I could satirize about modern technology convenience. There's so much. I
feel like this is very ironic because it's like the thing that is supposed to make our lives more convenient is actually doing the opposite.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you?
No, you are exactly right.
Yeah. Is that true across the board?
Generally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All it usually amounts to is how long does it yield convenience to you? So it's all a matter of how long it takes for it to become an inconvenience, for it to become a liability rather than an asset.
Yeah.
Because with technology, it's just a matter of time. Like everything technological becomes obsolete eventually. And whatever its form of obsolescence looks like varies by.
Obsolescence.
Oh yeah,
that was good.
I work in technology. Yeah. Forced obsolescence is something I'm. Yeah.
Never heard of that.
It's basically like it's like a manufacturer will create a device and force obsolescence in order for a consumer to get the latest and greatest.
Like iPhones. Yeah.
Famously, yes.
Right. Okay.
Famously.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow, that is so fucked up. But that is very true though. It's all about how long it works. But isn't that true for everything in life, or is it just technology?
I think technology is most likely to be noticed.
Okay, maybe because it happens faster.
I think because it has a shorter half-life, I'll say.
Yeah. Like a key, like a physical key would keep working for maybe your whole life.
Yeah.
Or
maybe generations.
Yeah, or maybe even generations.
Yeah, like forever maybe.
Right. There might come a time where the lock somehow got warped or something, but that would be very long time down the road.
Yeah.
So maybe it's because it happens faster that we notice it more.
Yes, and we rely on it more and more and more and more for different avenues of convenience.
Yeah. I love that Friggy is named Friggy.
Yes.
Is your fridge named Friggy?
Not yet.
Name him. Name him. Christen him.
Christen him. I'll discuss it with Ken.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I love that he's Friggy, and I love that he's like trying to reason with Friggy. Friggy, unlock the door. Friggy, unlock the door, please. Friggy, please. Please unlock the door. And then the password is fluffy puppy love.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so cute.
I just love the idea of poor Billiam standing outside his apartment and has to shout his super secret passphrase, which is fluffy puppy lumps.
Right, and has to scream it so Bridgie can hear it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like, Bridget, let me in. I'm imagining
pounding on the door.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm imagining seeing that happen. Oh, it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but it's sad because Friggy is despondent.
Poor thing.
Poor Friggy. Friggy's like, I know all I'm here to do is help you, but I can't. So sad.
I really wanted to characterize Friggy as much as possible.
You did.
Yeah.
It was cute and a little bit heartbreaking.
Oh.
Yeah. But okay, find my fridge. Okay, the Migura part, well, that's pretty relevant.
Yeah. So I guess setting out to write this, I had the first half in mind, up to the point whenever Friggy couldn't let him in despite trying. I had all that kind of like figured out.
Yeah.
Everything following that, the point whenever he's like, okay, don't panic. From then on, that's all just me like off the cuff.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, he's going to go to the window. He's going to go in, but it's going to be the wrong window. And then that's whenever I started thinking, it's like, okay, I've made one point already. I've already commented on like technology and convenience. And I was like, I'm gonna try for something else as well. And so something actually sort of magical happened, and it was this metaphor of the door is the border, and the lock is immigration.
Oh, yeah. See, I didn't think of that.
So that just magically happened. And
Wow.
so I had no plan for that. I got to like the La Migra, she shouted and ran away.
Yeah.
Essentially, I just wanted him to like jump in and scare this woman.
Yeah.
And she just thinks, it's like, it's immigration. I gotta
busted.
go.
Yeah.
And so I did one very cursory edit to the first half, and I had him work for the internal combustion engine company. ICE.
Oh my God.
And so she points to his embroidered pullover.
Oh my God.
Thinking that he's ICE.
Wait, is that in there?
It's the very first sentence, I think. Yeah.
Wow. I did not even notice that. Okay. That's brilliant.
So yeah.
Oh yeah. The internal combustion engine company. I did not see that. So his sweatshirt says ICE.
Yeah.
And yeah, this like, can you imagine? Okay. No, that's scary. This, well, if he's anything like you, very white guy,
well,
wearing
a name like
this,
Billiam, come
right,
on.
named Billiam, with ice on his front of his shirt, like breaking in through your window, and she just runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
But yeah, that I was not prepared for that side of the story to come out. It just started to work, and so I started to run with it.
Yeah.
And then the last bit of commentary that I was able to land on was this guy arresting Billiam for breaking in to his own home.
To his own home.
Like they're damaging their own.
Right.
Like it's not working even for their own. Like that's kind of where I wanted to leave it, was like I managed to get 3 commentaries into one story.
I didn't even think about that one. But that one's very good, because it's like it is damaging to whatever our own, you know, and it is
side A, side B,
right, and it is arresting people for coming into their own home, you know. Wow. Just wow. That's pretty darn clever.
Thank you.
Pretty darn clever.
And it was not at all planned.
Yeah.
It just happened. I will admit this probably took me 40 minutes to write. 40, maybe 45 minutes.
Wow, you cheater.
But I really wanted to get it done.
No,
so
I know. I think it's great.
I got it done.
Anybody who, you know, goes a little bit over, no problem.
Yeah.
You know? We aim for 30 minutes. We don't always succeed.
And also, I was just having so much fun writing this.
Yeah.
It was so fun. I really liked the SOS Morse code that the lock was putting in
Yes.
the
If he had known Morse code.
Yeah, if Billiam had a naval background or a cursory memory of the movie Titanic, he might have recognized this as SOS and Morse code. However,
it wouldn't have
had he known this, he would have certainly mistaken it as meaning something more dire than it was, which was in fact a dead battery.
Right.
I don't know why. I was really proud of that paragraph.
I really like the part that's like, from his prone vantage. I love that sentence. No, this whole sentence. From his prone vantage, he can make out black boots below khaki pants with a crisply ironed pleat.
Yeah.
I love that.
Awesome.
It's just so vivid, such a vivid description.
Awesome.
As crisply ironed pleat. Is it starched as well? Surely.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
Let's just say yes. Of course it is.
Of course. Oh, that's really, really good. It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Not only is it hilarious, but it's an excellent commentary on our current state of affairs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Both technological and political to a degree.
Right.
Yeah.
And social.
And social. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun writing this.
Well done.
Thank you.
I'd like to see more satirizing of technology.
Oh, that's pretty easy.
Yeah. Can you make that happen?
I can.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I kind of want to write a whole series about Billiam.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could be Billiam Chronicles.
The Chronicles of Billiam.
Yes. It could be.
Love that idea.
Yes.
I get so happy just thinking about that.
Adventures of Billiam. Billiam's Technical Adventures.
Yeah, so the satire prompt for Do the Right Thing that you jumped in on.
Yeah.
Billiam was my satire.
See, I knew that the name Billiam was familiar, but I think it's just because we joke about the name Billiam sometimes.
Yeah.
And I used to call my cat Willow Billiam. So
that's right. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
But that one was about how, and weirdly, I went back and read it, and I was like, ooh, ooh. It's about how the government was put up for auction by some congressman who wrote in the margins of a bill, like, we should put up the government for margin, lol. And then it got like actually passed, and then it was put up for auction, and technology companies like pulled their tax returns and bought the government.
Yeah.
And so it was like Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, and Minecraft.
SpaceX.
Well, this was back,
I know,
like
but
4 years ago, bought the government. And I went back and read that. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. That's
yikes.
Yep. You caused this. This is your fault.
Sorry.
It's all right. Yeah. Amazing. I love it. I want to see more Adventures of Billiam.
Me too, frankly. I want to write more.
I want more Technicolor Adventures of Billiam. Oh, Billiam.
Well, okay. Up next, we have Hail Fucking Satan, Chapter 666.
Yeah.
By the Prismatics 19.
Welcome, Prismatics.
Hey, Prismatics.
Hey.
So, thoughts?
Well, to me, first of all, first thing that struck me reading this was the hilarity of the band name Maggot Rape.
Yes.
That's just funny.
Yeah. It's this walking this fine line between just totally fucked up and hilarious.
Yes.
It's just right there.
I know this is going to probably strike some people the wrong way, but the idea of raping a maggot is hilarious.
Absurd, even.
Absurd.
Yeah.
Or even vice versa is a little bit more disgusting, but just as absurd.
Yes.
That's just funny. It's like trying to say like the most disgusting word and the most like violent word you can think of together, you know?
Yeah, fucking metal.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, well, I mean, this is just like a like taking the most extreme, like most evil things you can think of, like
most worst, epic, worst, most, just extreme,
right. The part that also struck me as funny, just because it was like trying to do the extremeness, was a young child injects himself with black tar heroin.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Someone is hacking off limbs with a machete signed by Kenny G.
Yes.
I lolled hard at that.
Yeah. A man's throat is ripped out.
Yeah. A machete signed by Kenny G.
Yep. It's pretty heavy metal.
I'd own that. I'd own that machete.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, why are these people here if their limbs are getting chainsawed off?
Yeah, men and women fornicate with whoever is within their grubby grab. Yeah. Nice alliteration, grubby grab.
Right.
Like
Passion and pain.
And then we get this recurring, these are the things you see before you.
Yeah.
Description.
Mm-hmm.
This recurs 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things you see before you. At the grand cacophony of it all, someone presses a button attached to an explosive device. The entire building is bathed in glorious flames, as hot as the bathwater of our Lord Satan.
Mm-hmm.
No one survives. A grand sacrifice of gore, body parts, and infrastructure reigns upon the rest of the city. The devil is unimpressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are the things you see before you.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere far away, a young child is at the house of his uncle. He has been asked over to help with chores. The old man brings the boy back to a room in the rear of the house. They have a discussion. The boy leaves crying. This you do not see.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you make of that?
I read that a few times to try to properly figure out what it meant there. And really what I landed on was that this boy is being abused somehow by the uncle.
Yeah.
And I guess in the contrast with that and the scene at the beginning is that evil is not so obvious.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not loud and in your face and like just,
Evil doesn't necessarily proclaim itself.
Right.
It hides, it lurks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it is maybe in the form of a loved one,
mm-hmm.
Or of doing something good, like helping someone with chores.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, it's not like in your face.
Yeah, it doesn't announce itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hides, it lurks.
Did you get any other things from that part?
Basically, what I arrived at as the commentary was essentially the idea that evil does not announce itself, it does not proclaim itself, it hides, it hides away, in places, and what appears to be evil having announced itself is just as likely to be like misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like maybe it's not evil.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It presents itself as evil, but it could be something else.
Right.
I think one example I always keep thinking about is like Insane Clown Posse. Are you familiar?
Somewhat.
Like it is. Frankly, I'm not okay. So generally, I'm a fan of whatever music. It doesn't really matter. Insane Clown Posse. It's like okay, like I see it. Supposedly, they are some of the most wholesome people.
Yeah.
But they are also like the music is just horrible.
Yeah.
Like. Oh, it's not good.
Yeah.
But the community is like generally very like
loving,
like communal and loving, and like they're very like helpful with each other. Like I don't know. I just find it very fascinating.
Yeah. That is interesting, and I also think that goes back to where it says after that whole scene of like this obvious evil, wicked act, the devil is unimpressed.
Yes.
And I felt like it could have brought it home where. After the child goes home crying, the boy leaves crying, the devil is impressed.
Yeah, you almost could have buttoned it up just like that.
Yeah.
The devil was impressed.
Yes.
End scene. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I do think I think you're onto something there. I think an ending like that, keep it in story and don't necessarily need to announce the meaning as much as the Prismatics did here.
Right.
That being said, if we were to just read this story out of the context of a satire prompt, would we have still arrived at this without the explanation, do you think?
Without the satire prompt?
Yeah, if we were just presented this story, would we have read this as satire?
I think that the Kenny G machete really.
You're right. That would have been it.
It's kind of impossible.
That's the linchpin.
Yes. If it weren't for that, maybe not.
Yeah.
But I do think because it's okay. I do think that would have been a perfect way to end it because it's like the devil is unimpressed. These are things you see before you. Young child, uncle's house. The devil is impressed. This you do not see.
The devil is, yeah.
Just end.
Yeah.
You know, I think that could have been a nice way to like end it without having to overtly state the meaning.
Yeah. Poke it on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, this is a great satire.
Yeah.
This is very well done.
Yes.
And very poignant.
Mm-hmm.
It really lands the point home.
Yeah. That's the thing about satire is that it's actually making comedy out of very heavy things that are going on.
Yes.
You know?
Which is part of the reason I really wanted to do satire this week anyways. It's a lot of shit flying around right now.
Yeah.
Best to make light of it as best we can.
Right. Or at least to glean some laughter from it.
Or even some understanding through laughing at something.
Yeah.
The Onion, which Steve Livingroom brings up. The Onion is a great example of satire.
Yes.
Because you're not only getting a chance to laugh at the world for a minute, you can still learn about the issues.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's John Oliver too.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
John Oliver is a great example.
Trevor Noah.
Yes. And
Jordan Klepper.
Okay. But no, it's very well done, very well handled. I do think Rachel's onto something for the ending. I hadn't considered how I would address the ending, but since you mentioned that, I think that'd be a great way to button it up.
Right.
The devil was impressed.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. No, great job. Great job,
yes.
The Prismatics.
Excellent. Got anything else for that one?
I really don't. I am a bit of a metalhead myself. Give me some Pantera, some Lamb of God. I'm there for it. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Give me some Black Sabbath, boy.
Black Sabbath. Metallica. Love me some Metallica.
Ozzy.
Also Ozzy.
Black Sabbath.
And last story for this week is an untitled story by Steve Livingroom.
Steve.
Hey, welcome in, Steve.
Welcome in. We missed you last week.
We had Steve last week.
We missed you week before last. Sorry.
It's okay.
I got confused.
Yeah. Well, hey, welcome back, Steve.
Yeah, welcome back. Okay, so jumping right in, this just kind of seems to be a satire about satire.
It really is. Satirizing satire, which is very meta.
Yeah.
Also, it just kind of sounds like a bit of a confession from Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this honesty.
Yeah.
The straightforwardness.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Just poke it on the nose. I'm gonna say it again. Just boop. Just address it directly. Yeah.
If you, can't think of something to write, I think it's great to write about the fact that you can't think of something to write.
Yeah. What a great way to just sit down and start writing something and maybe something happens.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And yes, we already just mentioned The Onion. Who else can write satire? What power do these magicians harvest?
That's funny.
That is funny because they are some exceptional satirists over there.
I think it comes with some of it's natural and some of it comes with practice.
Almost certainly.
They do it constantly and they are surrounded by satirists who are like constantly pushing them to up their game, you know?
Yeah. And I imagine if your job is to write satire every day of the week, you start seeing satire everywhere you look.
Right.
Yeah. Even just having done this one yesterday, like I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my God, there's so much opportunity for satire in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're not used to thinking or when you're not used to writing about it, then at first it might be like, whoa, what do I write about? But then you start tapping into the things that you actually notice every day in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're hilarious.
Yes.
Yes.
And the things that infuriate you in your life, in your everyday life, those are the best things to satirize.
Exactly.
Because you can find a way to laugh at it and comment on it. That's the best part, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like creating your own commentary.
Oh, yeah. That reminds me of my favorite comedian, my favorite stand-up comedian, which is Sebastian Maniscalco.
Ooh.
OMG. Ooh. And it's funny because he's constantly satirizing like everything around him. Mm-hmm. And he's like talking trash about the other people at the gym and how they annoy him. And he's like, yeah, and I was talking to my wife and she's like, why does it bother you? Why do you let it bother you? And he's like, I like to be bothered. I like to be bothered. I feel like that is like the tagline of a satirist.
Yeah, I like to be bothered.
Yes.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Also, Steve, I see you throwing some shade. Religion, that didn't go over well last time. Sorry about that. That's on me, dog. So, but I'll take it. I'll take it on the chin.
Yeah.
Ouch.
He just punched himself in the face. It was horrific.
Yeah. I'm bleeding.
Yeah.
And broken.
He's a broken man. I like the honesty about I'm too cheesy to be satirical about love. Too cheesy or too much of a romantic?
Romance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think he is a romantic.
Yeah. Also, know thyself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. Mm-hmm. If one style like satire is just out of your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
No shame.
I really like the part that's like, good writing is easy. And it's funny because whenever I first read that, I was like, is it? But then I kept reading. It was like, if you write through your heart, the writing will show. Good writing that other people will like is another story.
Yes.
So I really like that because it's like, good writing is easy if you're just writing what is good to you. Mm-hmm. You know, the hard part is trying to write something that other people will like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's kind of it's a commentary on perspective.
It is.
Yeah. So this is in fact satire.
It is.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. All you need is commentary. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, see there, I caught you in a joke. See, I can't even write satire when I try. You just did. You just wrote satire. Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what he's kind of saying. It's kind of like how my dad used to say, I was a poet and didn't know it.
Okay. I could smell that eye roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, even the most rabid fan group members are picky and nitpicky. That's so true.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure we're just as guilty of that.
I'm not. JK.
I was like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? There it is. Oh, this statistic at the end, an estimated 4% of the world's population didn't read a book last year. That feels encouraging.
Yeah, 4%, that's great.
4%? That seems very low.
It does seem very low. Like, I feel like it's got to be more than that.
I was gonna say like 40%.
Yeah, because here's the thing. People don't read books anymore, so I hear.
Yeah. I guess, especially if you exclude audiobooks.
Yeah.
Oh man, that number would be sky high.
Right. I've been reading complaints from teachers that their students don't know how to read anymore.
Yeah. 4% felt very low.
Yeah.
Oh, especially because of the literacy event that we were at.
Yeah.
Like adult literacy is like astonishingly high.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel, adult literacy or adult
illiteracy is astonishingly high. Yeah.
Like, I feel like at least 4% of the world's population is illiterate.
At least. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a whole lot of literate people that I'm positive did not read a book last year.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So that when I saw that number, I was like, that's hella encouraging.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it at, if I had to guess a percentage of the world's population that did not read a book last year, I'm going to say 23%.
I probably would have pushed it 30 plus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whenever I said 40%, I wasn't being like snarky or facetious. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like it could be that high.
Yeah.
Like did not crack a book.
Yeah.
And also read a book. It's like, does that mean looked at the title of a book? Does that count as reading it?
No.
Okay, so it's like cover to cover, finish a book.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's very high.
Or at least finish 70% of a book.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I am working extra hard and diligently on teaching my cats how to read. Because I'm just appalled.
Appalled.
I'm appalled at the illiteracy rate
of cats.
I'm appalled. Every time I walk into my house, I'm appalled.
Thank you, Steve, for your submission.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your honesty. I like it.
Yeah, I really did.
I like the meta-ness of it.
Yeah, it's very meta.
Very metal.
Metal. That is all of our stories for this week. Hey, great job, everybody.
Yes, lots of chuckles in there.
Yeah, many a chuckle.
And lots of truth.
Lot of truth. Lot of truth.
Damn. Damn. Mm-hmm.
Richie got bars.
Yep.
So shout outs, RichiePozier for being selected here today, along with Walker by Faith, Nick to you, Wook Against the Machine, that's you.
That's me.
Mass Edwards, that's me. You. The Prismatics 19, and Steve Living Room.
Wow. I liked that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was fun.
I don't know how to respond to praise.
Yeah, okay.
So that moves us into episode 25.
Oh, wow. That's a quarter of a century.
That is. If they were years. But these are episodes.
Okay, well.
That's basically 6 months we've been doing this. Actually, I think it actually is exactly 6 months.
Wow. Can we do a high five?
We did it.
We did it.
We high-fived.
We did. It was hard, but we did it.
We announced that our 25th episode will exist, and we high-fived each other for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so good.
So, hey, do you want to tell our listeners what the prompt is for our 25th episode?
Yeah, I do. The prompt for our 25th episode is actually going to be an intro line. And it is. As soon as I opened the door, I knew something wasn't right.
Right.
That's it.
Yes. Well done. Well read.
Thank you.
Well said.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And the words to accompany this intro line are retired, minister, gregarious, construct, and scheme.
Love those words.
Good ones, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So how about retired?
Retired. Retired, the traditional sense of it, of course, it is either a verb or an adjective, or a verb or an adjective.
So it's still a verb or an adjective. Okay.
Right. The traditional sense, I think, is people who don't work anymore.
Yeah.
Who are retired.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite usage of the word is retire, as in retire to my private quarters
to rest
your
my
knee. Exactly.
Is that from Prometheus Bound? Yes. Thank you.
Yep. Good job. So that is the best
usage of retire
that I've ever heard in my entire life.
To retire to your private quarters.
To rest my knee. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I can't imagine a better usage, and I dare you to use it better than that. It's not going to happen, but try.
It is impossible, but try.
But try anyway. Yeah, retire. I mean, what else can we say about that?
It doesn't necessarily always apply to people. You can retire an outfit.
Mm-hmm.
You can retire a product line.
Yep. Retire a jersey number.
Exactly. Yeah. So retire doesn't necessarily always apply to people.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me that, retire, we usually think of it as a intransitive verb. But you're right. It can be transitive as well.
Can you explain in further detail?
Yeah. Intransitive means that it cannot take a direct object. So, for example, I died. Okay. So
okay.
I can't say I died him. I dyed him. And I'm not talking about color.
Okay.
But okay, D-I-E.
Okay.
D.
Okay.
I dyed him. You can't say that. You can say you killed him, but you can't say you dyed him. You also, can't say, do you get what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
I arrived you. No. Okay. So arrive is an intransitive verb. It cannot take a direct object. So I think it's interesting that retire, I've always thought of it as an intransitive verb, but you're right. It can also be transitive because you can say, I retired this
object.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hon.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, minister.
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 Minister. So I think the traditional sense of this is a preacher. Minister. Y'all should hear me going through like all the different words for minister with my students, trying to get them to know what the hell I'm talking about.
Okay.
Sometimes like minister, preacher, pastor, father, imam, rabbi,
sheik.
Shit,
I don't know.
That's like a royalty.
The royalty. Okay.
Imam is what you're trying to say.
Imam. Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you. Of course I knew that.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. There's other ones. Anyway, so that's as a noun, as a person, but it can also be like the minister of defense. So it's like the person in charge of something.
Yeah.
Right. If you're ministering in a verb sense, it's like you're ministering to someone, like you're helping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What is the difference between administer and minister in the verb form? I just realized.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Administer is to apply.
Okay.
Something.
Administer, whereas minister would be to like, you could minister administrations.
Mm-hmm. Could you?
But you could not administer ministrations.
Actually, I think it's the opposite.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't imagine a world in which you could minister administration. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the difference.
No. Okay, but ministrations are things that are like care, like assistance. Mm-hmm. So you could, in fact, administer ministrations. Mm. Can you minister administrations? I don't think so.
You could minister administrations of ministers.
Okay, can I actually go back to a previous point?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, this goes back to the transitive intransitive thing. Okay.
We're back here again.
We're back. Because the problem with what you're saying right now is that minister is an intransitive verb. It cannot take a direct object.
Okay.
Administer is a transitive verb. It can take a direct object. So therefore, you cannot minister something. You can minister to something. You can minister to someone. Okay. Because that would make it an indirect object. Uh-huh. But you cannot minister something.
Why?
Think about it. Give me an example. What can you minister?
Administrations.
No. No.
Why?
I minister you. That's just not the way it's used.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. But it's okay.
I'm despondent.
It's all right. Listen. It's okay. Okay? Okay. Listen. It's going to be okay. Okay.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Okay, but you can administer something. Like I administered aid. I administered ministrations.
Yeah. And again, the word is minister. Lost the thread.
Right. But it can also be an adjective like, oh, that's the minister guy.
Oh, you wanted me to remind you about adverbs, specific kinds of adverbs or adjectives that we have in English.
Yeah. Yes, because I said last time, whenever I say that a noun can be an adjective, and you were like, I always question you on that. And I was like, well, that's because they are, hold on. No, I said they're nominal adjectives. Nominal. But that was wrong They are adjectival nouns.
Now I know you're making shit up.
I'm not. Listen.
Adjectival?
Yes, it's a word.
That's a conjugationalization if I've ever heard one.
Look it up. They're adjectival nouns. It means it's nouns that are used as adjectives, okay? But a nominal adjective is actually kind of like, for example, blessed are the poor. Poor. Just stay with me, okay? Poor is an adjective. But whenever I put an article like the in front of it, it's being used as a noun. And it means the poor people.
Thus, nominal adjective.
Exactly. Okay. It's an adjective being used as a noun. You have to put an article in front of it. Okay. Yeah.
And adjectival nouns
is what what I should have said last week. When I said nominal adjective, I was
like minister guy.
Erroneous.
Is the adjectival noun
exactly
of minister?
Yeah.
Oh God. I reject that reality.
That's fine.
Okay.
You can.
Next word is gregarious.
Oh, this is one of my favorite words.
It's a great word. Yeah.
I love this word.
Would you describe yourself as gregarious?
I would.
Cool.
Would you describe yourself as gregarious?
No.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Okay. Gregarious. Well, outgoing, friendly, open,
chatty.
Are you saying I talk too much?
No. Oh. I'm just finding.
I'm just joking. Fond of company.
Yeah.
Sociable. Oh yeah, I'm totally gregarious.
Yeah, I'm totally. What's the opposite of gregarious?
Antisocial.
Okay, that one. That's me.
Okay, that's him and his wife.
Oh yeah, we're total homebodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're total not gregarious.
Yep.
Well,
although I mean, we host people
really.
Twice a week. I think.
Yeah, they're
We facilitate the gregarious people in our lives.
Right. No, you facilitate non-gregarious people
to be gregarious by allowing gregarious people.
They facilitate times where non-gregarious people can come together and sit in silence.
That's not true.
Just joking.
It's kind of true though.
But not always.
Yeah, it's like, hey, y'all want to come over and watch a movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Gregarious, it's an adjective. I think it's just an adjective. Blessed are the gregarious, for they shall inherit friends.
Aw.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
That's
I just
nice.
came up with that.
Okay. Next is construct.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Well, here's something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Construct can be a noun if you put stress on the first syllable, but if you put stress on the second syllable, it's a verb. Construct.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So construct, build, put together, form, right? Construct would be something that has been formed or built.
Yeah, this is one of those weird, very simple words that it's kind of hard to define. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the verb is the easiest to build, to make something, to erect something. Yeah. But the noun is less obvious, I feel like. So actually, I did look this one up. An idea or theory containing various conceptual elements, typically one considered to be subjective and not based on empirical evidence. A construct.
And do you know what? That is why I believe that as a noun, construct is a synonym of contrivance.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my mind, because it's something that has been, it's not necessarily real, but it's been built, it's been created by entities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of this amorphous dynamic thing. Like it's not easy to define, and that's kind of the point.
It's something that does not occur naturally.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting word.
Mm-hmm. So for example, Some people say that time is just a construct.
Yeah. Something we dreamed up and now live our lives by.
Yeah. Because we did. It is a contrivance. People were like, there's going to be 12 months and it's going to have this many days in the year. What do you mean? How did you decide this? You know? Okay, I know the sun happens and all that.
Yeah, I was like, there's reasons for the contrivance or the construct.
That's true, but why is it divided up into 12 months?
You know, I actually, I need to hunt it out, but Kim put me on to, there was a podcast episode that she made me listen to that was all about time and like its histories, its origins, and the various methods that it's been measured over time. And it's very fascinating.
I want to hear that.
And like the different ways that the calendar was broken up, the way the day was broken up, and the various ways and how we landed on 24-hour days, 12 months to a year with leap years and everything.
Yeah.
It's all very fascinating.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting. And you learn a little bit about the history of the names of the months.
Oh, yeah, I know all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, I'll need to get that from Kim. The show was called This Is Love with Phoebe Judge.
Oh.
And
yeah, I listened to Phoebe Judge's other
Criminal.
Yeah. Yeah, and I heard ads for This Is Love, but I never
Yeah, it's her show.
Never listened to it.
Yeah, This Is Love. I'll have to get the episode name, but it's about time.
That sounds cool.
It's very cool.
That sounds interesting.
But yeah, there's some very interesting history around time.
Yeah.
And how we landed on the standards that we recognize today.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Very.
But still, the months are a contrivance or a construct.
And lastly, scheme.
Scheme?
Uh-huh. What are you scheming?
I was just thinking about schema, but that's something different. Scheme is either a noun or a verb. And as a noun, it is like a plan, a scheme. Usually
of a devious nature.
Yeah, nefarious.
Nefarious.
Yes. Yeah. I'm scheming. What are you scheming over there? Yeah. I don't know what else to say about that.
It's not just a
noun. It's also a scheme, like a pattern.
Like a color scheme.
Yeah, color scheme. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Why does it mean that?
I don't know. I was just wondering that.
Going with a kind of a boho scheme. Why?
Huh. The whole scheme is...
The whole scheme of things. Well, that's like the plan.
Yeah.
Like the big picture. In the grand scheme of things.
I'm going to look that one up.
Yeah.
Because, that's
a bit interesting.
Oh. First definition is a noun, a large-scale systematic plan or arrangement for attaining a particular object or putting a particular idea into effect. So by that definition, like color scheme. Okay,
I can see that. And then scheme as far as like the plan of the layout of your life or something.
Yeah, and a sub-definition of that is a particular ordered system or arrangement.
Okay, that makes sense.
And an informal Scottish definition is a public housing complex. Fascinating. Okay.
Scottish people are awesome and hard to understand.
Yeah, they really are.
But, I mean, their accents are kind of sexy.
Oh, they're hot as fuck.
So hot. But
so hot.
So hard to understand.
Maybe that's the allure. It's like...
I don't know what you're saying.
I don't know what you're saying, but it's pretty.
It sounds so good.
Sounds so good. Okay, so again, the words are retired, minister, gregarious, construct, and scheme.
Those are some good words.
Yeah, and I mean, you could just string retired minister together, and there it is.
Yeah,
like
totally.
Get to writing, like
right,
practically done already.
It's already written for you. Of course, if you want mad props, you'll have to come up with a better use of retired than the retired knee bit.
Which, as we've already mentioned, is impossible.
Right. Right.
Well, if you want to be like these wonderful writers and submit your story to You Write, head on over to our subreddit at reddit.com/r/YouWritePod.
If you're unable to submit a story this week, that's fine. You can help out by reading and commenting on other people's stories. But we do quite enjoy when you submit so that we can talk about your stories.
Yes. Yes. The more stories, the merrier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more stories.
You like how I just fully didn't commit to that?
Yeah. Is that a word?
I just gave up halfway through the word stories.
He did. It was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Each time you post a story or leave a comment on someone else's submission, you increase your chances of having your story read on the podcast.
You can also reach us at yourightpod@gmail.com.
If you like our show and want to help support us, maybe buy us a coffee.
Yeah.
Or a beer.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah,
beer. Brewski. A code one.
Yeah, so if you want to buy us a beer, head on over to Patreon at patreon.com/YouWrite.
If you're unable to donate, if you can't even afford a few cents for a coffee,
I think the minimum is like $1. So I haven't checked on it in a while.
Okay. That's fine. You can help us by sharing the podcast with other writers and non-writers alike.
And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you know as soon as new episodes are available.
Also, be sure to leave us a rating and review in your Podcatcher of choice.
Yes, we will be reading one review on each episode, like this one. This review. this one.
Oh.
So this is from Nathaniel McLean.
Yes, Nathaniel, we miss you.
Yeah. Do I actually read this again?
Don't do it. It's really good.
Yeah. Nathaniel left us probably the best review of all time.
Maybe that's where no one else is writing a review because they feel like they can't follow that.
Oh, you can. Or you can try.
Top that.
Yeah. When you top it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
you could try.
Yeah. Nathaniel, if you're listening, this is our way of saying, baby, come back.
Yeah, baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. Baby, come back.
And remember, join us next week on You Write,
a podcast where you write. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. Baby, come back.
See y'all next week.